You know, folks, I recently, just watched Sleg Daddy's Off the Rope Show video where he kind of discussed why he felt the WWE Draft sucked this year. Well, I can understand his frustration on it. I can understand guys like the wrestling gurus, the people, J-Dub and the people that help him with his show, Spinning at One, Jeff Meacham and the people at NoDQ.com, Steve Breach, along with a few others. I can understand all of the frustrations on why they felt the draft didn't, really live up to its expectations this year like it's done before. Well, let me kind of explain some. You see, the draft was originally scheduled for June, a 3-hour edition of Raw in June of this year. But due to the sudden retirement of Edge, they had to move it up a little bit so they could at least try to get a top face on there. Now, I know, again, I talked about this in my previous videos on the draft. There's a lot of people that don't like the fact that the first and last draft picks of the night were wasted on John Cena. I can understand that, but again, you have to understand WWE Creative, despite how you feel about them, and believe me, I have my personal feelings about them, which I'm not going to air here on television, because if I air them, WWE may just take off my video and channel. But again, what I'm saying is that, WWE Creative, they were in a panic. They didn't know what to do, so they had to do this almost out of left field, right off the bat. They had to do it. Now, everybody talks about, how, WWE, fucked up a little bit by not balancing things out, by not trimming down the main event scene on Raw and increasing the mid-card scene, and increasing the main event scene and decreasing the mid-card scene on SmackDown. How they fucked up and didn't really do that. Believe me, they probably helped it out more than some people give it credit for. Because if you watch my previous video, I give you an idea. I give you, towards the end of that video, if you watch my thoughts on the draft overall, I give you who I feel are going to be the top 5 faces and heels for SmackDown and for Raw. And basically, these are the top 5 individuals who I believe are going to be in the upper to mid card, almost main event title picture scene before the year's out. So, anyway, go and watch that video and you'll see what I mean. Because I'm telling you, guys like Sheamus is going to benefit from this. Guys like Daniel Bryan's going to benefit from this. Alex Riley. Drew McIntyre. Tyler Rex, I look at it as a dark horse, is going to benefit from it. Kofi Kingston, of course, benefits either way he goes. Del Rio, of course, is going to benefit. I mean, guys like that are all going to benefit from being sent to these different shows. Even though they were sent through the supplemental draft, they're still going to get the opportunity. They're going to benefit. If you want a good example, look at Dashing Cody Rhodes, or Cody Rhodes, period. He was drafted during the supplemental draft to SmackDown. What happened? He went from being just Cody Rhodes of Legacy to Dashing Cody Rhodes to now the grotesque, undashing Cody Rhodes, a top heel. What does that tell you? Huh? But again, I can understand where some folks are coming from. But it may sound like I'm defending WWE, but the truth is, they were left with no choice. I mean, if Edge hadn't retired, or wasn't forced into a retirement, there's no doubt they'd still be there's no doubt that they would have still gone ahead on schedule with having the draft in June for 3 hours. Does put more emphasis and put more credibility behind it. But because Edge retired suddenly due to his diagnosis of the neck injuries and the spinal injuries and stuff that had caught up to him, they were left in a panic and they were left with no other option. You know, it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like if you wanted to take two animation networks, or two networks that are all about action and adventure, and one network mostly has animation, action, adventure, while the other network is kind of mostly live action and less animation, but you want to balance it out, right? Okay, so let's say you want to fix the situation on this one network where you want to balance it out, where it's like half live action, half animation, not all live action. And on the other side, you want to kind of decrease a little bit on the animation aspect of the action adventure, and you want to put more emphasis on splitting that in half as action adventure and variety animation, like comedy and drama and stuff like that. So how would you do this? Well, one, if you want to increase and balance it out 50-50 on one side, animation and live action, you want to take some of what you consider the best action adventure shows out there in animation. You want to bring those in, make them part of your show, or make them part of your channel. On the other side, you want to balance things out by having half of your scheduling being drama, or being comedic dramatic or comedic animation or variety animation. You want to have that. So how do you do that? Well, you do it basically by trying to find the best comedic, the best dramatic, and the best variety animation shows out there. So let's say this one channel that wants to balance out. This one channel, I think some of you may know who I'm talking about, has X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Gargoyles, all from the 90s. And yet majority of the other shows are more live action, of not comedic, and of Disney Channel originals. So what do you want to do? You want to balance things out, right? You want to put more emphasis on your action and adventure in animation. Still keep a little bit of that variety. Still keep a little bit of the channel, the original series from your other network. But also, you want to balance. Basically, you just want to. Your main focus is to balance out the action adventure deal, the live action and the animation, because there seems to be more live action on this channel than there is animation. So how do you do that? Well, one, you want to get some what many would consider the best shows to have. So if you're this channel, and I think a lot of people know what channel I'm talking about, you look at shows like, say, Mighty Ducks. You take a look at shows like Darkwing Duck, Rescue Rangers, the ones that are right now being revived in comic book form. You take them and you put them on your channel to help balance things out. Then you take another couple of shows that you feel would balance things out for you, like Silverwing. Take that, balance things out. You know, if you're going in the direction of anime at times, and you got Naruto on there, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Naruto on there. You want another anime that's just as popular, like him. So what you do, well, let's say for example, maybe you go in the direction you get Galaxy Angel. That could help balance things out. You go out there, you may sound crazy and all that, but you go out there and even if you have to edit it a little bit, you go out there and get a show like Witchblade, the anime Witchblade. You know, things like that to really help out. And, you know, of course, you go out there and try to get shows like Sonic the Hedgehog's Saturday Yam, Sonic Underground. Put those on there, that balances things out. And basically by doing that kind of stuff, you're balancing out the animation along with the live action, so making it 50-50. But then on the other side, you want to balance out the animation by having just as much comedic and dramatic animation and variety animation as you do with the action adventure. Because on the action adventure side, you have an X-Men cartoon, you have an Iron Man cartoon, you have a Fantastic Four cartoon. You just acquired the rights to the Ninja Turtles. You just, acquired the rights to a live-action cartoon series and Power Rangers. So, what better way to try to balance that all out than trying to find and draft in and bring in comedic shows, dramatic shows, and variety animation shows that can really help out. So comedic-wise, go out, let's say, bring back some old favorites, Ren and Stimpy, put that to your channel. Cat and Dog, do the same thing there. Cadillac Cats, Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, do that. What else? Tex Avery, the Tex Avery Show, do that. Shows like, basically do things like that. Tiny Toons, even though they're a WB show, bring them in. Animaniacs, bring them back in. Balance things out, and I guarantee you folks, Freakazoid, bring him in. I guarantee you folks, if Nicktoons, Nickelodeon, it's the channel I'm talking about, was to do that, the Nicktoons one, balance it out, it would help things out, right? But you see, this is where guys like Slick Daddy and everybody else feels the WWE fucked up. Because they didn't do that. They didn't balance out all the areas they needed. They didn't fix the areas they needed to fix. They didn't decrease what they needed to decrease. They fucked things up. It'd be like if Disney XD wanted to focus more primarily on live action, and they drafted more live action shows from other sources, and you're like, come on, you need more animation, but here comes more live action. And it's like Nicktoons. If they decided to emphasis more on the action adventure animation instead of the variety, comedic, and dramatic, you'd be like, come on, you have enough. Enough is enough. Stop, stop, stop. You kind of get what I'm saying, right? But that's basically how the guys at Off the Ropes Show, guys like Jeff Meacham and ODQ, J-Dub, I'm pretty sure, Spinnernet, I'm pretty sure, Wrestling Gurus, how everybody here at the YWC YouTube wrestling community felt about the draft. So, and how WWE in their minds fucked things up. So, that's all I'm going to say about it. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about what I said. Do you agree with some of the things I mentioned? Just tell me what you guys do. Leave comments down below, and I'll be posting this as a video response to the Off the Ropes show. But tell me what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later.